Hey y'all, what's up? My name's Jordan and I love watching movies. And so I am starting a brand new YouTube channel. I'm doing a new segment called The One Thing Movie Review. And in these reviews, I'm going to watch a movie and then there are three categories that I'm going to go through. The first one is the one thing that I like. The next one is the one thing I hate. And the last one is the one thing I would change about the movie. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get going. The first film that I am reviewing is Challengers. Challengers is a romantic sports drama. It is following a love triangle with Tisha, played by Zendaya, Art, played by Mike Faist, and Patrick, who is played by Josh O'Connor. Pretty much the gist of the story is Zendaya is married to Mike's character Art, and he is not doing super well in his tennis matches. And so in order to bring up his spirits, Zendaya has him play a few challenger matches. And those matches are supposed to be a little bit easier. And so once he goes to the challenger match, he realizes pretty quickly that his opponent is his old friend, and it was Zendaya's ex-boyfriend. The one thing that I loved so much about this film was Zendaya's performance. I just thought she was incredible because her character was written pretty well. So Zendaya's playing a character that used to play tennis and was practically the top of her field, but then she got in an injury and could not play tennis anymore. And so what happened is she started living vicariously through everyone else who plays tennis. So she started doing that a little bit with her ex, but then mainly she's been doing that with her husband Art. One thing that I just find incredible with Zendaya's performance is she understood the loss of not being able to do tennis, but live it through someone else. And you can see the frustrations that she has, not only for not being able to play, but also when Art starts messing up. The best way I can describe Zendaya's performance is, you know those parents that used to play in sports and now they can't, and so they will go over the top with their kids. That is pretty much Zendaya's character. When I was first watching, I'm like, my goodness, she is such a hard character to live with. Yeah, the more I've just been thinking, the more I start realizing that's just her character missing tennis so much and being frustrated not only at Art, who's not doing super well, but just also at herself. You can see that throughout the whole film. She's just so upset that she got that injury. So I would say her performance is a strong 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed watching her the whole time when she was on the screen. The one thing that I hated so much about this movie was how unrealistic the two male characters were, Art and Patrick, their friendship. I swear there was a 10-minute scene where they were just doing Google eyes at Zendaya's character the whole time, and it wasn't even like cute at all. It was so stalkerish. They're like, the whole 10 minutes. And I just could not get over that. I'm like thinking, okay, when Zendaya was looking at the script to play it, how did she not feel uncomfortable knowing about that scene? Because it's just so awkward. On what planet are two guys just staring like that? It just, yeah, it was not good at all. And honestly, I thought that was just weak character development too, because guys don't do that in real life. Now, maybe there's been a case or two, but it's very rare. And I'm pretty sure now those guys who are constantly staring like that for 10 minutes, the whole scene, um, they are most likely in their basement. Just saying. I totally thought that it was a cringe fest. And then, I mean, they kept offering her to go to their hotel room, which also big red flag. Which she also was like, I don't know. There's like no base to them trying to get her, because both guys are interested in her and it was very obvious, and they could only rely on their looks, and so there's just no personality in them trying to woo Zendaya's character. And it's funny because they couldn't carry a conversation unless Zendaya took him out and started talking about tennis. That's when they kind of were able to start talking a little bit more. But then at the same time, they were just trying so hard to get her. So they were pretty much just banking on their looks to get her, just to get to the hotel room. And oh my goodness, I hated that scene. So don't even get me started with the hotel room scene. I swear that was like a teenage boy's fantasy being written out on screen for quite a big movie. So I'm just so surprised that even went through. Yeah, so the whole dialogue just felt like it was written by a junior high boy. There was quite a few scenes. They weren't realistic. The thing that I wish the movie did was play off on both guys' skill sets, and heighten them up so that they could actually try and get Zendaya's character, because I do believe that the way the characters were set up, there was a lot of potential to make those skills be what led them to try and get Zendaya. So for example, Patrick is a lot better at tennis than Art. And so what they should have done was really elevate his skill set. Also show us that he's better than Art, because the whole movie is the final tennis match of them, but you never get to see them play before, because you know they were friends in the past. What would have been more interesting would have been to see Patrick against Art in front of Zendaya's character, because she loves tennis and she is definitely influenced by surrounding herself with people who could play tennis and are actually really good. Because throughout the film, especially towards the beginning, you can see that Zendaya's character is a little bit, I wouldn't say disappointed, but kind of like meh towards her husband, because he's just not that good at tennis. So there is that little bit of a drive where she is definitely more motivated and influenced by tennis. And since she was good, she should deserve the best guy who plays tennis. And I think that would have been a really good premise, because eventually she would have had to made a decision later down. If their foundation is just tennis, once Patrick leaves tennis, what is there left in this relationship? So that would have been something very interesting for Zendaya's character to explore, because I totally think she would have been way more attracted to the idea of Patrick. Also, you have Art, who's not as good, so now he would be playing throughout the whole film. He would then be struggling with his identity, trying to find out if he is even worthy, valuable for Zendaya's character. And when you flip it around, Art connected a lot better with Zendaya's character right from the get-go. Even on the beach where the boys were just goggling over Zendaya, you could totally tell that Art and Zendaya's character, they connected a lot better. Um, and so I think that is a stronger foundation. I think he should have played that up a lot more. And I think that would have made just a lot better drama, because Patrick, he clearly is very like, he seemed to want Zendaya's character more. Um, and honestly, I think he just wanted the image of being with her, but not necessarily being with her, if that makes any sense. And so that would have been a lot, pretty interesting, because Art picked up her without even trying. That's kind of what it looks like, because that's how great their characters connected. And so I just think that would have been a lot more interesting. And throughout the film, you would have had Zendaya's character that, like, who do I pick? Do I pick the guy who's really good at tennis? Or do I pick the guy who I connect really well with? I think that would have been a lot more better storytelling right there. The one thing that I would change about this film would be some of the cinematography choices that were made. Take it, there was quite a few cool shots in there. This is a movie that will try and do some pretty creative shots, and I do think they executed that pretty well. One of the coolest shots is taking the angle of the tennis ball. However, it grew old so quickly, mainly because as the tennis match gets more intense, that means the ball, you know, is going quicker. And so visually on my eyes, as the tennis ball, it was just hard. And I think it just would have been cool for like one or two. I even think they should have done like a slow-mo towards the end, like let's get a final, like the final two hits. That would have been really cool as the tennis ball, but they did not do that. So I'm so sorry. Another thing that really bothered me was some of the angles they had on Josh O'Connor. I swear, who I don't think the cinematographer really liked him, because he had some of the worst camera angles ever that just did not make him look good. There was a scene in particular that just, like, it's ingrained in my mind, where he and Zendaya are in an alleyway talking, and he's looking back outside to the cars. And so when he turns, by the way, this is two shots. He's looking and then he turns. When he does that, the camera was a little bit further down, directly on his face, and something about that just did not look good at all. The final match, there was just so many shots. It's hard to describe. He did not look good in many of the shots, versus I feel like a lot of the shots tried to glamorize Mike face character, and that could have been a stylistic choice, because the way the movie is setting up, you kind of want to fall more in love with Mike's character versus Josh's character. So I could see that, but again, I just don't, I did not like some of the camera angles that they had on him. At the very beginning, they were showing the beginning credits, and the color choice they picked is pink, like a light pink. Totally fine. However, there was one shot that they got of the major city during the sunset, right where the sky is a light pink and an orange. So imagine having text, and it was a very skinny font too. A light pink font on a light pink orangish sunset. It was so hard to read. Take it that I know they're trying to be very artistic about it, but oh my goodness, no, 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 no. You got to remember, you need to put readability sometimes in front. They should have just picked a different shot or put the text not in the skyline, but maybe in like more of the bottom part where the city was, just so then you can see it just a little bit more that pops out. Overall, I was not really thrilled with the movie. On Letterboxd, I gave it a 2 stars. I honestly think after this review, I probably could have given it a 2.5. The half was all for Zendaya's character. However, it was so hard to watch because it felt like it was literally written by a junior high boy. There were so many scenes that were very immature and were very unnatural, like that would never happen in real life. It felt like a film student wrote it because there was also a lot of cussing, especially like dropping the F-bomb. I get it, you know, you are more than welcome to do that. But just because you can doesn't mean you shouldn't. That was one of my biggest critiques, even in film school, when I would read so many of my peers' scripts, is they're like, yeah, I can finally curse all the time. Fine, do that. However, that's just not the most compelling way to write. So personally for me, I think a lot of cussing in a movie is just quite tacky. There's just so many ways that you can write compelling dialogue that gets the point across. So anyways, that's all my thoughts. Thank you for joining this movie review. I had so much fun really thinking about the movie after. I just ordered 9 movies at my library. So I've got 9 films that I'm about to go watch and review, and so I hope you can join me with those because I got tons of content coming up, and I'm also just super excited to see where this channel goes. So if you really like this video, go ahead, give it a like, leave a comment on what video you might want me to review, and then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Put that little bell on so you don't miss a video review, especially now that you know I've got 9 videos coming up. I can't wait to see you guys all in the next video.